Well, it's back down on the ground. Time for a little bit of a test rip. Alrighty, off we go. Well, I would go out on a limb and say that was a rather spirited test drive, considering the type of car this is. I just was double checking over everything now, and I noticed when I was putting it back together, I have a little bit of an issue. One of the studs on the manifold seems to be stripped out, so my header is hanging a little bit loose. So I have a little bit of an exhaust leak there, but not a big problem. I can certainly deal with that and sort it out. I'm going to take a peek under the car, look for any obvious leaks, anything like that. Primarily, I'm in here to work on cleaning up some of my mess from this ongoing project. So now, I think it's time to finally enjoy this and drive it and see what we can make of it now, because it feels like a new car. It's the 0 to 80 time, based on the app that I use there to track the speed. It actually picked up a full 3 seconds, and there's no modifications to the engine. It's just been resealed. It's a factory stock engine. Otherwise, the vacuum lines have been deleted where they're not required. And then of course the automatic transmission. That makes a huge difference. 3 seconds. It actually makes you you can accelerate away from traffic nearly. Pretty wild. So I'm really excited about it. I'm really looking forward to getting this thing out on the road and putting some actual kilometers on it, and out and about, and seeing how it does in the real world. But so far, I can't say I'm disappointed at all. It's definitely been worth the hard work. Right on. All right, clean up this holy disaster. My goodness. Back in the barn again. So we sent it pretty good on that test drive, just to shake down to see what was going on, and we squawked the tires. You saw in that video there. Obviously from a dead stop into second, into third, and fourth gear I think I just slid into without I didn't push. Awesome. And I tried it again later, missed the shift into third, but my bad. I was trying to move faster than what the car can keep up with, I suppose. Then I heard a clunking and I had a suspicion what happened, and well, let's dive in there and I'll show you exactly what's up this round. Under we go. We're looking at that's the back of the transmission. This is the drive shaft. The drive shaft goes into what's called a torque tube, and the torque tube is bolted to the rear end, and that is actually part of the rear suspension here. It's got its own hanger that has a bearing inside, and basically keeps the rear end of the car attached to the structure. But I must have given her a little too hard, because I blew the torque tube bearing to bits, and it wasn't the bearing I destroyed, it's the entire case around it that's ripped to pieces. It's actually still, the rubber is still good, which is awesome, but you can see here, like, that shouldn't be doing what it's doing. Let's see, we got a different angle. So she's blown to bits. I'm gonna replace it. I have another one. That's the only reason I send this car like that. It's because I have more parts. So I'm gonna swap this out. Shouldn't take too terribly long, assuming no bolts are totally stuck, but let's cross our fingers, rip it out, swap it, and move on. I've got this complete torque tube with the pumpkin from Josh, actually, and I picked it up a long time ago. Probably close to when this would have been when he started his V8 swap, at the very least. And this torque tube is in, or this carrier bearing, the case anyway, is in really nice condition. It's not damaged or broken. The yoke is good too. So I think I'm going to take basically from the yoke back, I'm going to split the case at those 4 bolts, take this whole assembly, slap it into my car. Ta-da! We're in. Yeah, so that's that. There's not much more to see here. This is the underside of it, so the actual top side would be considered like this. And you can see that it's just metal fatigue, and then me clutch dumping it a couple of times there blew it to bits. Whatever, no big problem. We I imagine something like this was not out of the realm of possibility. The rubber standoffs on these things have a tendency to break down. I mean, assuming that the steel ring stays intact, the next failure point would have been the rubber isolator for it, and it would have been slopping around, but this case is blown to pieces. Maybe it's definitely something I'll hang on to, in the sense that maybe one day I have to rebuild something, and this can be salvaged for parts, which is fine with me. But for the moment right now, this is just going on the shelf and gonna get set aside. Just got some gear oil dripping out into my catch pan there, and I'll get the other torque tube installed here momentarily. Well, based on the camera footage, the swap of the rear trailing arm mount only took about 20 minutes, which is pretty awesome. And mind you, the impact gun helps a lot. The only thing I need to do now is top up the rear diff fluid, because we lost some oil when we pulled this torque arm out, or torque tube out, sorry. And once it's topped up, we should be set for a test drive. So I got to put my donut back on for the exhaust hanger there, and pull the drain plug out, top her back up, and we'll be good to go. Well, I took it out for another spin. I should have brought the camera along, but in all honesty, I set it down and forgot where I parked it until just now. So I can scratch into third gear again. And it's solid, it's tight. Everything feels really nice with it. So I'm definitely gonna give it a cruise now, and I drove it pretty hard just a few minutes ago and nothing broke yet. So I think it's time to just regularly putz around and see how this thing goes for a little while now.